Hi guys, it's me, Lymphomama, and this is Bella. Again, I am doing a YouTube channel to go through the journey of my daughter at 19 who was a college student who had stage 3B Hodgkin's lymphoma. Up until this time, I've been trying to be very chronological of what I have been talking about in our journey. But I feel it's very important for me to talk about radiation because my daughter did not have traditional radiation. She had proton radiation. And it is something new, and it is something that people need to know about. And the purpose of my YouTube channel is to get information out. So today I'm going to talk about proton radiation. So after my daughter's second cycle of AVBD, she had a PET scan again, and it came back 100% clean. The doctor was really very pleased with that because he said around 80% of people come back with not saying that right. He said that most people come back 80% clean. Not everybody comes back 100% clean. And I'm keeping my doggy awake here. Am I boring you? So we were pleased, and we thought we would just do 5 cycles of AVBD and be on our way. Well, to make a long story short, we were told that she may need to have radiation. They actually sent off her PET scan to a place up in Rochester, New York, I believe, and they concurred because her tumor was more than 1/3 the size of her chest cavity. The protocol is you need to have radiation because the PET scan does not see every little bit of cancer that's in your body, and they want to get it all out so it doesn't come back. Initially, we were sent to Sibley Hospital for a consult, and we had a big talk with the radiation doctor there, and he said that with radiation, traditional radiation, where the tumor was on my daughter's chest, it would give her a great risk of getting breast cancer in the future because with traditional radiation, the radiation just goes in and it leaks out. Also because the tumor was on top of her heart by her major artery, it was going to have a big impact on my daughter's heart, either after radiation or later down in life, but it definitely would cause damage to her major artery. So he suggested that we look into proton radiation. We had never heard of that. And what he explained to us was it's something new out there, but it is delivered by a pencil beam, so it goes right into the target where it needs to go. It does not exit your body, and there is no leakage. He said that she would only have a 3% greater risk of breast cancer than any other person who's never had cancer. So that was phenomenal. And he said she would have no damage to her heart. So we knew this was the way to go. He told us there was a brand new proton center in Georgetown, which would have been a great drive for us along the parkway. But he said if it was my daughter, I would not have her go there because it's brand new. And our daughter would be the very first Hodgkin's lymphoma patient that they would treat. And think about it. It's a brand new facility. She's a brand new patient for this. We just didn't want our daughter to be a guinea pig. So he highly recommended that we go to the Maryland Proton Center in Baltimore, Maryland. And the first thing that came to my mind was traffic, because on average it would take us 2 hours each way to get up there. Because this is, in Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., and Baltimore, we'd be catching 2 rush hours each way. Anyway, we'll talk about that in another video. But we went up to Baltimore for the consult, met with the doctor who was going to be mapping out how the proton would be delivered. And he explained to us that most of the delivery of the pencil beam would be from the back, so it would not affect her heart or her breast. He explained to us that if you have to get radiation and it's near an organ, proton radiation is the way to go. Again, did I just say this? I don't know, I'm a little tired, because there's not going to be any leakage or any damage. So, and he was doing most of the entry through the back. And this is the way we decided to go. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about getting proton radiation, there's a few things you need to know. It's much more expensive than traditional radiation, and some insurance companies are not covering it. That being said, more and more insurance companies are covering it because they are realizing that less damage is going to be done to the person because there's less radiation going to be leaked. So he said if the insurance company comes back and says, no, I'm going to fight for it. And he did just that. And he also said something, again, this is the Maryland Proton Center. He said it's cheaper to get done at the Maryland Proton Center. I believe he said it because they're attached to the hospital. It's just not like its own little entity. So it goes through insurance that way. We had no regret by going this route. What I would like to say to you is if one of your children is going to go this route, or if you or somebody is, you need to ask questions. You need to ask questions. So the one question you want to ask is, how are they making the mask? Some people have no problem maybe, but some people can have anxiety because what happens is they put this plastic sheet over your head and it kind of like melts into you for a mold. And it could be very claustrophobic and very scary, especially if they don't explain to you what they're doing. So make sure you ask so you and the patient know what's to be expected so you're not surprised. Another tip, ask them, can you cut out the eyes? I can't say this more. You are your child's advocate. They're not going to do something to make it more comforting unless you ask. So if they can cut out the eyes, then your child can at least be able to look and see what's going on. Why is there a mask? Well, I can't speak for other people, but for my daughter, they had the mask made for her head and her shoulders, and she was clamped down so she couldn't move because they had like a GPS delivery system of where that pencil beam was going to go, and if she moved, it was not going to be going to that place. Now, my daughter only had 14 rounds of chemo. It was once a day, Monday through Friday. They were closed on the 4th of July. And it was only going to last, the delivery of it is 5 minutes, but you can be on the table 45 minutes, and sometimes machinery is not working. They only had, I believe, one beam, and they had 6 tables rotate through, and if something happened to the beam, you got delayed. One time my daughter says she was laying there and she actually heard like a forklift going beep, 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 because something happened, and they had to fix it right then and there. Anyway, I know that proton radiation is not everywhere, and it could be difficult for you to do that if you don't live near a center. And my next video is going to talk about how an idea of how I could offer advice about housing if you don't live close to a proton center. But I want to end by saying, if you have to get radiation near a major artery like your lungs, your heart, your liver, ask your doctor about proton radiation, okay? Don't be scared if he says, well, insurance isn't going to cover it. Have him submit it. Have him say why it would be better for you in the long run, because more and more insurance companies are approving it and is the much safer route to go than getting traditional radiation where there's going to be a lot of leakage and can cause other damage. But you know, if you're just getting radiation to your leg or your arm where there's no organ there, then you could do the traditional radiation. But do your homework, because we have no regrets for doing it. So for now, this is Lymphomama with Bella here, and I want to wish you a good day. If it's not a good day, hopefully tomorrow will be a good day, because you always have to take one day at a time, and at times 1 hour at a time. Thank you.